For all your t-shirt needs, check out TeePublic's Killer Selection. Follow the link in the description. Hey, what's up, people? Pizzal here, and today I want to talk to you guys about the new Vestron Video Collector's Series Blu-ray release for 2003's Beyond RE-ANIMATOR. Now, this is partially going to be a review of the movie as well as a review of this Blu-ray release. And Beyond RE-ANIMATOR is a really uneven feeling movie for me. The movie picks up right after the events of Bride of RE-ANIMATOR. We get a really cool sequence involving a reanimated corpse that has no jaw. From there, we fast forward 13 years to find Dr. Herbert West, played yet again by the incomparable Jeffrey Combs, incarcerated. Yet even though he's been in the clink all these years, he's managed to continue his research and actually expand upon it. And when a young new medical director comes to the prison who knows a little bit more about Dr. West's past than he lets on, Dr. West soon discovers that he'll have a whole slew of fresh corpses to do his research upon. And Beyond RE-ANIMATOR is one of those films like Dagon and Faust that Brian Yuzna set up in Spain. The movie is entirely funded by Spanish backers. The cast is predominantly Spanish. The crew is predominantly Spanish. And which is interesting because the movie's supposed to take place in the U.S., in the Northeast. However, it's pretty obvious from the word go that this movie was not shot in the U.S., because you're asking yourself, wait a minute, if this movie takes place in the U.S., in the Northeast, why are all the prison inmates Spanish? And why are they obviously, most of them, speaking Spanish, and therefore they have to have their dialogue dubbed? So the veil of this movie taking place in the U.S. is blown immediately, which is kind of a detriment, yet at the same time kind of benefits the movie because it gives the film this really off-kilter, just weird kind of, I don't know, atmosphere. The movie was also written by a Spanish writer who they talk about in the interviews on this disc about how a lot of the dialogue was kind of lost in translation because when they shot the film in Spain, they had to agree to have a mostly Spanish cast, a predominantly Spanish crew, and a Spanish writer. And so therefore, Jeffrey Combs and Brian Yuzna kind of had to wing a lot of it on the set. And it kind of feels that way. It kind of feels, it just feels kind of slapdash to me, at least for the first couple of acts of the film. Now, once the third act of the movie kicks in, Beyond RE-ANIMATOR at that point really felt like a RE-ANIMATOR movie to me. You get lots of blood, you get lots of gore, you get lots of reanimated corpses, you get a really cool effect with a reanimated corpse that has been, it's only half the man he used to be. The effects in the film are actually done by Screaming Mad George, and they're pretty good, despite the fact that this was a pretty low budget movie. And one thing that I liked about Beyond RE-ANIMATOR is they expanded on the RE-ANIMATOR sort of mythos. Which, one thing that always kind of bothered me about the RE-ANIMATOR movies is they continued to want to reanimate people, even though every person that they reanimated came back as a mindless, ravenous, just a very, very angry reanimated person. Yet they just kept reanimating people, thinking maybe this one will be different. Maybe this one's a little fresher. Let's bring this one back. Oh no, he just smash that guy's head into a wall. Okay, well, let's try it again. Okay, here's another one. Let's try it. Nope, the exact same the exact same result. Let's try it again. The exact same result. One more time, the exact same result. And I thought it was cool how they actually expanded on the mythos of we know we have the green goo in the syringes, but Dr. West has expanded and has collected this electroplasm or something like that. The electricity in the brain that creates your essence, I guess, your soul, for lack of a better term. And they inject that into people as well, and that's supposed to kind of bring back who they were. Of course, there are unforeseen side effects. Let's just say the performances in the film are okay. Jeffrey Combs, without a doubt, is carrying this film. He is beyond Re-Animator. His performance is phenomenal as Dr. Herbert West. It's a well-made movie despite being a very low budget, despite there being lots of the communication barrier there between Brian Usna and the mostly Spanish cast. The movie turned out pretty well despite all that. If you're a Re-Animator fan, I would recommend Beyond Re-Animator. The movie starts out really well. The third act is really good. Everything in between just kind of feels a little hodgepodge, a little slapdash, a little uneven to me. But I think the third act definitely makes up for it. Beyond Re-Animator is nowhere near on the level of Re-Animator, but I had a enjoyable time watching it. If you're a fan of the Re-Animator films, I would recommend watching Beyond Re-Animator just to kind of close out the trilogy, if you will. If you've never seen Beyond Re-Animator, watch the other Re-Animator films, and if you dig them, then go check out Beyond Re-Animator. If you are a fan of the movie, you definitely want to look into picking up this Blu-ray release from the Vestron Collector's Series. The picture quality and the sound quality on this release are both pretty darn good. I'd give them both a solid 3.5 to 4 out of 5. We get this really nice slipcase, which comes with all of the Vestron Collector's Series Blu-ray releases, and we get some really nice extras on this release. First up, we get Beyond and Back, an interview with Brian Usna. It's 18 minutes and 50 seconds in length. Mr. Usna discusses the long conceptualization process of Beyond Re-Animator, setting it within a prison, starting the film directly after the events of Bride of Re-Animator, and then jumping forward 13 years. He discusses working with Jeffrey Combs on trying to nail the tone they'd established in the first 2 Re-Animator films. He discusses visiting 3 different prisons to location scout for the film. Mr. Usna discusses the special effects in the film and working with Screaming Mad George. He discusses continuing the Re-Animator saga and almost having the next film, House of Re-Animator, financed, but it ended up falling through at the last minute. And now his idea for House of Re-Animator is Dr. Herbert West in the White House with a reanimated president. That sounds pretty interesting. I would definitely like to see that movie. Very nice interview with Mr. Usna. Next up, we have Death Row Sideshow, an interview with Jeffrey Combs. It's 20 minutes and 9 seconds in length. Mr. Combs discusses the appeal of playing Herbert West and why the character appeals to audiences. He discusses shooting the film inside a real prison. He discusses shooting the film in Spain and some of the issues that arose due to the language barrier. Mr. Combs discusses working with the other cast members in the film. He discusses how disappointed he was that Beyond Re-Animator premiered on the Sci-Fi Channel and wishes that it would have gotten more exposure. Mr. Combs discusses where he'd like the story to continue if they were ever to make another Re-Animator film. Very nice interview with Mr. Combs. Next up, we have 6 Shots by Midnight, an interview with S.T. Joshi, author of I Am Providence, The Life and Times of H.P. Lovecraft. It's 16 minutes and 13 seconds in length. Mr. Joshi discusses Lovecraft's fascination with sciences and astronomy. As a young man, he discusses the origins of Lovecraft's story that Re-Animator was based upon. He discusses being delighted in seeing Re-Animator, the film, come to theaters and how faithful it was to the story and how the film was a way to popularize Lovecraft. Mr. Joshi discusses the other films in the Re-Animator series as well. Nice interview with Mr. Joshi. We get a production art gallery by illustrator Richard Rephorst. We get a still gallery. We get a vintage EPK. We get Dr. Re-Animator, Move Your Dead Bones, music video. We get a theatrical trailer, an international trailer, and an audio commentary with director Brian Usna. I listened to about 20 minutes of the commentary with Mr. Usna. He discusses was setting the film up in Spain, having the film financed by the Spanish backers. He discusses shooting the film in a prison. He discusses working again with Jeffrey Combs. Very nice, entertaining commentary, at least for the about 20-25 minutes that I listened to with Mr. Usna. This is a really nice Blu-ray release for Beyond RE-ANIMATOR from the folks over at the Vestron Video Collector Series. Got really nice picture quality and sound quality and some nice new extras and some old extras for Beyond RE-ANIMATOR. If you're a fan of this film, you definitely want to look into picking up this Blu-ray and adding it to your collection. If you've not seen Beyond RE-ANIMATOR, like I said, go watch the other two RE-ANIMATOR films, and if you dig those, definitely check out Beyond RE-ANIMATOR. I'll put a link to Vestron Video's website in the description. Go over and check them out. If you've seen Beyond RE-ANIMATOR, please let me know your thoughts on the film down in the comments section below. Please let me know your thoughts on House of RE-ANIMATOR, if that film is ever to be made, down in the comments section below. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. They're also right around here. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Join the $1 a month club and help support my channel on Patreon. Thank you to my current patrons: Kevin Smythe, Orc145626, B-Movie Mike, Robert Sobel, Turi Delamore, Stephen Flanagan, Lori Holt, Mitch Odell, Farron Sutton, Craig Farrand, Jeremiah Lambert, Grindhouse Grotto, Joseph Charlesworth, PB Sam 6, Derek Jana, Demon Waffles, Tim Williams, Stone Gassman, Zachary Barton, Mr. Bibby 86, James Welch, Eli Geisler, Jeff Overing, and Cliff Hostetter. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.